What you just saw there were the sorts of videos that a number of people in Italy have been spreading on social media recently, where for a solid 10 seconds, they performatively grope themselves in intimate areas to prove a point about what they see as injustice in Italy right now. What they're referencing is what's called palpata breve, brief groping, with the idea being, according to the judicial system in Italy, that if you are groped for less than that full 10 seconds, it doesn't count. It's not enough. It's not a serious crime. And there's particular cases that have raised this as an issue. So one case involved a 17-year-old student at a Rome high school. She described walking up a staircase in class with a friend where she felt her trousers fall down, a hand touching her buttocks and grabbing her underwear. The man who did it said, "Love, you know I was joking." That was the 66-year-old caretaker, Antonio Avola. He admitted to groping the student without consent, but said that it was a joke. And then a Rome public prosecutor asked for a 3.5-year prison sentence, but he was acquitted of sexual assault charges because, according to the judge, it's not a crime because it did not last for the full 10 seconds. And those videos are demonstrating to people that standard is utterly insane. That is an eternity when you are being publicly violated by someone, and that cannot be the standard going forward. Hopefully they'll be successful with this campaign, but River, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not shocking and it's shocking at the same time. I mean, to me, it's like, well, if you can never compare these things, but immediately I was thinking of like, physical assault, because for some reason, like as humans, sexual assault is always like up for debate, like as to whether it was or was not, because it's always in the hands of not even like the assaulter, but always somebody else. It's never, justice is never, in terms of in law, like it's rarely placed in the hands of the person who was assaulted. But in the case of a physical assault, if I were punched in the face, that would last all of what, 1 second, if that? Maybe. And would that be up for debate then, like that I was not actually assaulted because the person was just kidding and they didn't punch me more than once? Like I really highly doubt it. So it's like, to me, pulling somebody's pants down is like assault, like you're pulling up, you're touching another human being with the intent of like violating them, changing them, shaming them in public. It's not, it's really not up for debate. I don't think, and like hopefully it doesn't stand. But like, how do you place a time limit on an assault?
It's absurd. I mean, I guess you do it if you fundamentally don't particularly care and don't particularly consider it to be that serious of a crime. Yeah. I guess it's never happened to you. It's never happened to a person that you consider a real person. So it's easy to make light of it. So like with this 66-year-old caretaker, so can he just go and do it again? Like publicly strip a 17-year-old and grope them and just have a little stopwatch running. So 6-7 seconds, maybe you start to get a little bit worried, and then a few seconds after you stop, and then you're good. Like that doesn't make any sense to anyone. No. I'll also say there's a lot of stuff on social media that it makes me wonder if social media was such a good idea after all. And there's a lot of like the vertical video platforms I have a lot of issues with. But the fact that it makes something like this possible, that you don't have to rely on some big company putting together a PSA about this brief groping thing, that regular people can film a video and put it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever and immediately have a social movement around it, because those sorts of videos I think are so much more effective than just reading an article about this injustice. And so I love seeing this sort of thing that can hopefully rally people to, I don't know exactly what the change will be. Get these judges the hell out of there. But anyway, I like that there's a possibility.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, John, that like that is the thing that I want to choose to look at in this, is that obviously this is like a shameful thing that a judge would believe this, but I do think these are the case. Like I think about when I was growing up, and if we had social media then, I think most people would probably agree with the judge. I think that what you're talking about, like the ability to put this out there, and then the fact that so many people disagree and they agree that this is egregious and that is assault and that 10 seconds is ridiculous. Like the fact that so many people are immediately like, no, absolutely not, I think speaks not only to what's possible, but what has already happened. That like in what feels like a short amount of time to me, there has been a vast change in culture and consciousness around the globe as to, because these things are going to continue to happen. Like I would love to live in a world where they didn't, but like that is an essential problem and nature of humanity. But it is these things that happen that then allow us to understand each other and see how many people are in agreement with this person that this happened to, and not the person that did it. And I think that is actually incredibly powerful and a super positive element of social media, that we also even get to see it. And the fact that so many people are not in that camp is like incredibly powerful and gives me hope for the future and the present, actually.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.